Okay, so welcome back. I mean, where we're up to now is the E60 subframes in there. Sorry about the light, I just put the torch on, but yeah, there's the subframe there. And there's the column actually linked up from the E60 rack to the E39 steering column. It's probably not in 100% the best position. I mean, it is a bit close there, but it's connected for now. And we'll see what it's like with the engine placement with the subframe in this position. I mean, that's the E60 hub there, so you got the hub, the shock up top there, and all the wishbones all in place. All the track rod ends connected up. So yeah, I'm going to try the engine in, see where it sits in that position. I've also removed the standard E39 subframe locating pins. I drilled the spot welds out, and they're actually now stuck inside the chassis leg for now. I'll shine the torch. You can't really see in there, but they are in there. You can just see a bit of an outline or something. That's the pins there, just stuck inside the chassis leg. But yeah, they're out the way. I've just got a socket there resembling a bit of a pin, just to hold it in place while I try the engine in this placement. So yeah, I'm going to put the engine in now, and we'll see how it lines up and sort of go from there. Okay, so attempt number one hasn't gone to plan, which wasn't a surprise. Sorry if you get blinded by the light at all. But yeah, I mean, the engine's in there, but with the subframe where it connects up to the column down in there, it is actually too far forward. I mean, the rad hoses there are sitting miles too far forward, and with the subframe being higher, the bonnet doesn't close anymore. Okay, so that's the first few problems with attempt number one. And the next one is the wheel is going to end up in the front bumper. I imagine as the suspension goes up, when you lower it down, it will move over to the left a slight bit with the travel of the shock, but I doubt it will be very much at all, because that's sort of normally in a fixed position. So yeah, engine back out, move it further back, and then we'll see where I end up, and then we'll go for attempt number two. Okay, so now we're on to attempt number two, and it's looking a lot more promising this time. I put the bumper back on and the slam panel just to get some sort of perspective on where the wheel's sitting. Just find where I put the torch. But yeah, I mean, now that's the bonnet close. It's actually a bit low there. I think the bonnet stops need raising up a bit. Yeah, there is actually a bit of clearance in there. It's not a lot, but I'm sure it'll be enough. I think the engine needs to come up a little bit more. I don't know if you'll be able to see. The subframe mounts aren't directly touching the chassis legs. Yeah, it does need to go up a bit more. I don't know if you can see that or not on the video, but now it needs to go about up another 10 mil, so that clearance is obviously going to get less. Or I look at spacing the subframe down, but I mean, yeah, as you can see there, the subframe's really close to touching all the chassis leg there, where it's all sort of bends round a bit. I mean, yeah, looking at the wheel placement now, it's actually a bit too far back, so it probably needs to come forward another 10 to 15 mil. So I'll have to take it all apart, adjust it, and see where we stand then. But yeah, so far we're getting somewhere sort of promising. I mean, we're still miles off. I mean, yeah, it's a lot close to the firewall now. I mean, yeah, you can still get the air boxes in. It's tight down there. I mean, it's going to need some work with the steering linkages down there. I didn't really try and put them on because I know it wouldn't go when I loosely tried it, but yeah, right, time to position it again. Okay, so this is attempt number 3. I've moved the subframe about 20mm further forward. Gives me a lot more room down the back, as the heater hoses and the aircon were really close to the head, but now we've got a bit more clearance as well, about along the bulkhead, which was needed, so the air ducts for the heating should be a lot easier to get in, and as well there's a lot more space for the heater pipes now, because before it was really close to the back of that wiring loom box, and the head's not far behind that, so I don't think I would have been able to gain much space. So yeah, as well, the wheel placement looks a lot better. If anything, is a bit too far forward now, so maybe I'll go for bring it further forward 10mm, so I only took 10mm off the initial position, and hopefully that'll sort of split the difference. Ideally, I want to get another jack underneath the wheel there, so I can see where the wheel sort of moves when the damper's compressed. Because I mean, looking at the angle slightly there with the caster, I think as it goes up, the wheel will sort of go further towards the back of the car, to that sort of area there, with the angle of the shock the way it is. So it might be there. I need to really get the wheel jacked up a bit, put some load on the spring and the shock, and sort of see what position it is. I mean, it's going to be a nightmare for the steering column down in there. Yeah, that's not a job I'm looking forward to. As well, ideally, I need to try and get the subframe mounted in solid so it doesn't move. So I think what I'm going to look at doing is getting some blocks of steel with a hole tapped in there, and then I'll actually weld the blocks, just tack them onto the shell in places, so I can just chop them and move them, bolt the subframe up so it's in a definite position, and then from there I can look at front mounts and rear mounts. But it also allows me to say that the subframe definitely isn't moving when you drop the weight of the engine on there, which I think it does move ever so slightly at the moment, but it's really difficult to stop it from just flexing with the weight, because I have supported the back of the engine with a Widowmaker jack, but it gives quite good adjustment up and down just to get the engine so it's sort of sitting level. I mean, I think the subframe does probably need to come up a little bit more, because it's not flat on the chassis legs, but I think if I get a 10mm block of steel in there, that'll give me enough just to get that bit extra clearance, which I think is going to be needed. So yeah, I mean, I'll just drop the bonnet down. I mean, yeah, again, it is a bit low, so just want to adjust it on the little rubbers. But yeah, I mean, clearance is pretty tight, but yeah, hopefully it should be okay. If I do come further forward, the clearance to the bonnet is going to get worse. But hopefully, if I can have a look where the wheel goes up when I jack it up, it should be alright. I mean, ABS, that's going to have to go. Well, from that position anyway, to move him out of the way, because yeah, the airbox pipe's just going to be smack bang in the way there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this side airbox shouldn't be that much of an issue.
Might just have to run a bit of different silicone hosing than the factory ones, just to bring the airbox further forward, because I think the inner flitch there is in a bit of a different position to an E60. So I think the airboxes will struggle, or I'll have to mod the airboxes ever so slightly, cut the bottoms off them and re-glue them back together in some shape or fashion. But yeah, you can see how the ABS valve block's straight in the way there, so I'll have to look at relocating that somewhere, which isn't a massive job. It's just new brake lines, which yeah, it's not that hard really, just time consuming to get them look tidy. But I'm in the wiring loom, going into the box of gubbins in there. Yeah, it should just go. I mean, these airboxes aren't on properly because, yeah, they really don't look fun. So if anything, the airboxes are going to come down a bit further when they go on. I think the plastic that's stopping rubbish going in is stopping them going from further down at the moment. But yeah, so if I do get an extra 5 or 10 mil from the airboxes, if there's clearance now, there'll be even more later. But yeah, I mean, the wiring sort of reaches. Fuel lines are going to have to be changed a bit as well. But I mean, the main feed line, that changes because you need to run fuel pressure sensor in the fuel line to run the standard engine management on this, which is what I'm going to do. There's also all the different setup with the brake servo. It has a vacuum pump and a vacuum pressure sensor. I mean, normally it has, same as most E39s do, it has the secondary air pump which blows cold air down onto the cats for the preheating and stuff like that, which I'm hopefully going to get deleted, which will mean there's no rubbish coming down there. I mean, the headers are going to be quite tight down there to the column, but you can see sort of the angle difference that the E60 must come in at to get header clearance. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going to end up happening there, but as things progress we'll find out. There's going to be an absolute shit fight, no doubt, as everything seems to be so far. I mean, yeah, the aircon compressor's off the engine at the moment, so it was actually damaged because this car's been in a bit of a bump the engine came out of. But yeah, I mean, that should go. It should all clear the subframe. I mean, radiator wise, I'm going to be running the standard E60 rad, which, looking at the brackets where the E39 rad sort of locates in, the hoses don't seem a million miles off, which is a bit of a bonus, because I'm going to try and keep the E39 aircon condenser and the power steering cooler, because that's just all a neat package, and then get the radiator to try and fit in around that. I haven't offered up an E60 rad. I'm just hoping that it isn't wider than the chassis legs, because yeah, then things will get interesting then. Well, yeah, I think I'm going to end this video here for now, because yeah, it's gone pretty dark outside now, so time to call it a day. But yeah, hopefully I'll have some more progress soon. But please do sort of hold out and bear with me, because I mean, this is the first time I've done anything this big before. I've obviously built the engine on the other E39, which is also back up and running now. The tool came and they had it all, we talked it all up to spec, which was awkward. But yeah, with a 3/4 inch breaker bar we soon got there. So yeah, okay, so if you want to like the video, comment please if you got any questions, and subscribe for further updates.